This is the City Beam, a relatively new metro train being used on southeastern metro services throughout the southeastern area of Greater London. However, while these trains may look all new and shiny, they're actually much older than they look like, and they have a very interesting history. So join me as I check out what could be the perfect metro train, the Class 707 City Beam. Hello there. Today you find me at a very sunny Trafalgar Square, a very touristy and busy area that contains iconic structures such as the Four Lion statues and of course the National Gallery. In today's video, I'll be travelling from here down south to the London borough of Lewisham, so without further ado, let's head to the station. And today's station of origin will be none other than the magnificent Charing Cross, a very centrally located station that opened in 1864. This is actually my first time travelling from here, so I'm very excited to see what facilities this station contains. Let's head inside. Well, the station feels quite underwhelming, as it's essentially one large concourse with 6 different platforms, as opposed to stations like Paddington or Euston. You'll find the basic facilities such as toilets, shops and a ticket office. That clock above the kiosk looks very out of place to me. And of course, being in the centre, this station has connections to the London Underground, in the forms of the Bakerloo and the Northern Line. However, Embankment Station is nearby, which has Circle and District Line services too. All services from this station are Southeastern services, such as my train today, which is the 13:55 to Dartford. It's just arrived, so we'll wait for everyone to get off before we board. Today's service is composed of 2 Class 707 units, which are nicknamed the City Beam. While I walk down to the front of the train, I'll give you a brief history and some facts about these trains. The Class 707s were built by Siemens around 2015, however, they did not start in service with Southeastern, but instead with South West Trains. These trains were used in services to places such as Reading, Weybridge and Shepperton, however, they had a very high leasing cost. And so, it was decided that Class 701s would replace the 707s, which were sent to Southeastern for metro services to destinations such as Dartford, Gravesend and Hayes. Anyways, that's enough yapping. Let's board the train and take a seat now. I'll take a seat here in this bay of 4. I decided to change seats, and would you look at that, we get a lovely view of the London Eye. If you ever go to the ends of the platforms here, you also get a nice view of the Thames too. While we wait to depart, another City Beam service leaves bound for Hayes. You have to admit that the blue livery is much cooler than the Southwestern train's red. While we wait, let me remind you that if you like what you're seeing, then be sure to subscribe for more content like this. Also, be sure to join my Discord. You can find a link in the description down below to get updates on my next video. And 4 minutes later, we depart on time. The journey to Lewisham is set to take 16 minutes, as we cover a total distance of 6 miles, while we travel at a maximum speed of 100 miles per hour. Since this journey is within the Oyster Card zone, a journey from Zone 1 to 2/3 will set you back about £3.80, which isn't quite bad if you ask me. However, it can go up to £5.80 during peak times, which is an absolute rip-off if you ask me. The first part of the journey sees us crossing the Thames via the Hungerford Bridge, which is also a pedestrian bridge, as we make our way towards our next stop. We are now arriving into our first stop of the journey, Waterloo East. This station acts as a connection to Waterloo Station, which is one of the busiest stations in the whole country. It also has the most platforms in the country, with a whopping 24 platforms just for one train operator. This station also has connections to Southwark Tube Station, served by the Jubilee line. Now then, let's check out the seats. Now, considering that this is a metro train for short distances, the seats aren't that bad. However, if I travelled the entire journey to Dartford or Orpington, I doubt I would enjoy these seats, especially with how hard the headrest is. I really do admire the dark blue maquette which matches with the Southeastern branding. At the bottom of the seats you'll find a charging port, however no spots for USB, which is disappointing considering these trains are fairly modern. Up top you'll find an overhead luggage area, which is common on most UK trains. There is also a digital information screen in the door area which displays the stops and how busy each coach on the train is. The best part of riding these London National Rail services is you get really good views of the city. As we approach our next stop, you can see the Shard. Our view of the Shard is interrupted with our arrival into London Bridge Station, a major interchange between National Rail services and London Underground services. Most notably, the Thameslink Core joins the main line here, as services head south, but also north, through the city to major destinations such as Luton Airport and Peterborough. Like most of their other services, Southeastern offers free Wi-Fi. To connect, just sign up to their Wi-Fi and you get easy access, just like that. I decided to do a speed test on the Wi-Fi, and wow, that's terrible. It may be free, but that doesn't guarantee that it's any good. Let's do a tour of the interior. Seating is mostly laid out in a 2+2 configuration, however, some parts of the train contain 1+2 seating, allowing for a lot of standing space during peak times. It's also important to note that this train features no toilets due to it travelling on metro services. Near the doors you'll find a bin, a map of the Southeastern network, and the digital information screen. And that's everything this train has to feature. Well, after what seemed like a rather long journey, we are now approaching Lewisham, so I'll use this remaining time to talk about today's journey. After just a simple journey, I can tell you this much: the City Beams aren't the perfect metro trains. While these trains have been designed for short, simple trips, the overall journey to the terminus has not been taken into mind. The seats are decent, and the interior is pretty simple. However, the lack of toilets really brings down the reputation of these trains, when you consider that the networkers have toilets and much better seats, and these are the trains that the City Beams are trying to replace here. With that being said, we now make our way into Lewisham Station, so let's get ready to get off and say goodbye to this train. Anyways, if you like what you saw today, then be sure to subscribe for more content like this. Going into 2026, I have much more better video ideas that you won't want to miss out on. Also, be sure to join my Discord server. You can find a link in the description down below if you want updates to the channel. Anyways, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye!